What's going on, family? How y'all doing out there today? This is episode 22 of the Pharaohs Podcast. I'm your host, Solomon. I am joined by, we got a doctor in the house because we got Luke in the
Yeah.
building.
What's going on, everybody? Good evening, all
And
those
uh
in the digital world.
and then we also got Israel, he gonna be coming. He a little late to the podcast. I'm gonna have to start fanning people. I'm gonna have to start
He'll be,
fanning some people, man. Hey, you know what I was thinking about, Luke? I was thinking about um like us having like one of those like digital. We should start like a digital swear jar in case we start cussing too much.
that would be a good way to save some money. You'll be the main one contributing. I can promise you
Well,
that.
family. You said what?
You'll be the main one contributing if you did that.
All right, so you trying to make it seem like I'll be cussing a lot? I don't even be cussing a lot for real. Stuff
we'll
just
let
be happening sometimes.
we, we'll let our audience and our subscribers be the judge of that one.
Israel gonna
Oh,
be the main one paying us though, cause he always late.
What's good?
what's good? What's good, Mr. What's Good has
Mr. What's Good
arrived.
himself.
Getting situated real quick.
That's all right. We hear your voice. We hear your voice.
Yeah. Oh, snap. Let's see. Give me like
Um,
0.25 seconds. Where am
well, while Israel get his stuff together. Family, we got a guest today.
Yes.
We got a guest today. And let's bring him up right now.
Yep.
Yo, what is going on, family? This is let me get my introduction correct now. Okay.
Get it
Last
right.
time we
Get
had the finance guru. Now we got our musical extraordinaire as um
Extraordinary.
Jamari, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Jamari, uh Mikell, how you say it for me
This
for
is
the people?
Michael. Michael. Yeah, that's Michael. Y'all can hear me?
Jamari Michael. He is the CEO of Indigo Entertainment Group, music producer. He came to stop by the podcast.
Yes,
How you
sir.
doing, bro?
Yes,
What's going
sir.
on with
I'm blessed, man. I can't even complain. Got nothing to complain about, you know. I'm good. I'm good. I'm blessed.
That's what's up.
you?
That's
That's what's
what's up.
up.
We happy to have you here.
So
And stop. Wait, before you keep going, I gotta make sure because I gotta do my disclaimer. This my family right here.
It's family.
This one of my cousins that I was looking at in the music world when I was small with my father. So
Mm.
just to see him be able to go, I was always watching him from afar and see him work his land. So it's an honor to have a platform that we all can sit here and talk now. But that's my
Yes,
family right
sir.
there. Good to have you.
Yes,
Good
sir.
to have
Yes, sir. Happy to be here.
man, I'm definitely excited to have you on today. Uh we had Brenda on a couple episodes ago, and she was breaking down the finances and stuff like that, the importance of, having that security for your family, the life insurance and things of that nature. And I want to make sure that we continue to push these people on our platform, fellas, because we have also someone who I believe could be, his own version of, Timberland, his own version of Dr. Dre, his own version of all of these great producers of music that we all grew up listening to. So, Jamari, just, tell the people, exactly who you are and what you're about in, your Indigo label.
So it's a lot. It's a lot. But where I'll start is um, I come from a musician family, a musical family, obviously. So, making music or being, wanting to take part in music is was natural to me, right? Um, so Indigo came about, and my whole journey came about honestly through necessity. It wasn't necessarily something that I sought after. I didn't want to be an artist. I didn't want to be a producer. I didn't necessarily know exactly what I was going to do in high school, school, coming up. But I saw opportunity in the natural gifts that I had. You know what I'm saying? And I started investing in it. From my mom. She put me in piano classes when I was younger. Drum lessons, stuff like that. And then I just transitioned through the years, playing various instruments here and there, not really becoming super proficient in them. You know what I'm saying? Just really um, good enough to be able to package something together to be able to explain to somebody, hey, this is what I'm looking for with this instrument. This is what I'm looking for with this. Um, and yeah, I just took that, and throughout my journey, I learned that you know a lot of people within the industry don't take you serious unless you have some type of name or recognition or business behind you to kind of stand and say, hey, this is me, this is what I stand for, this is what I created. So that's how Indigo came about. I was trying to clear a sample for some song that I had made, and I reached out to the copyright holder, which is a whole nother side of it. You know what I'm saying? This is the legal stuff, and he basically told me, he was like, hey, we don't know who you are. Like, you don't have no label, you're not signed to Universal, Atlantic, etc. We don't really know you. So like, the fact that you're trying to reach out, and we have to go through our lawyers to make sure we draw up paperwork, etc., etc. He was like, it wouldn't even be worth the fight to do, because you're at this point, you're nobody. To be honest, that's basically what he told me in professional email jargon. Um, so I created Indigo just to kind of give me a name, give me a logo, give me something that I could say, hey, this is what I created, this is me, this is where I'm pushing all my music through and everything that I do. So that's how that came about.
I think that's cool.
Okay, so
Oh, go ahead, Solomon. Go ahead.
no, go ahead, Luke.
Yeah, because I was definitely gonna ask you a question. I mean, I know you brought up the creation side, and
Hmm.
especially on this channel, we try to push towards like inspiring creation amongst our people.
Hmm.
That's a very vital, vital side of society. So, just tell us a little bit about that process of the mentality that it took. I know Solomon and Israel both have experienced creating a business and the importance and the recognition that comes with actually having a solidified business. So, what was it that outside of them not recognizing you? What else
Hmm.
was it that made you say, no, I need something solid. I need something on paper that I can say, hey, this is what I've created.
You know what? I really thought about, honestly, I thought about legacy. You know what I'm saying? Um, I got serious making music about 18, 19 years old. I met my wife, my then girlfriend, at 21. Got married at 25, and not 25. I'm sorry, 27. I'm getting my timelines mixed up. But I was thinking, I'm like, man, I see all of these businesses and all of these people that have, you know, you have your names, you got your Sam Waltons, Walmart. You know what I'm saying? You have these institutions that have their family name attached to it. And even though Indigo is not my name per se, I wanted something that, once I built it up, once I gave it a solid foundation, that if I wanted to, I could give it to my children, or I could sell it, or I could do something that could be beneficial beyond just me. Um, uh, as well as Indigo is um it's a house of ideas. You know what I'm saying? I created it to be able to not only give myself a platform, but to also help other people who didn't know what direction to go in, as far as honing their creativity. Hey, how do I put a song out? Or hey, how do I put a video out? Or how do I make content? Or how do I even record a song? Um, I created it to kind of do that. And when I had my studio a couple years ago, I did just that. I was, one-to-one type of relationships, helping people build their careers out. I have people, honestly, that I've helped surpass me. You know what I'm saying? They've, gone and as you said earlier, worked their own land and, created their own platforms and created their own businesses. People getting flown out of the state, to go perform and stuff like that. And that's I guess the teaching aspect of me that's within me, that's like, okay, I get joy and I find a lot of fulfillment in not just seeing myself win, but also seeing others win. That's what Indigo is, legacy, helping other people.
I like that. That's a great mission statement. I like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I definitely we got some stuff we got to work on because I've been trying to hit you up. It's just been so much stuff going on. I had moved down to Atlanta, all types of stuff. But I know that you there's a freestyle actually that I got from one of his beats he created, and I had
I
posted it on
remember.
YouTube. It ain't there no more though. I don't think I I don't know
Okay.
if it's still
You
on
took it
my
down?
personal YouTube channel. I
You took
think
it down?
I have revamped my personal YouTube, but I gotta go check
Okay.
and see if it's still on there.
Got you. Okay.
So you definitely cold with the beats, but I
Appreciate
also
it.
want to work with you. Also want to work with you with an upcoming project. We can talk about that offline.
Yes,
I
sir.
just
Yes, sir.
I want to see I want to see what you could do with it. But talk about I want to talk about this is for you and Luke because I want y'all both to talk about this when it comes to music because y'all are the musicians here on the channel. Talk about I want to say the breakdown of like sounds and how important they are like to get people's attention or to make people feel some type of way. I know Luke last week when you were talking and we had discussed a little bit about the Passover and how the key has to be in a certain key for you to play power. So just talk about that, y'all, about um music and the importance and intricacies of sound.
Well, I'll dive into it a little bit, then I'll let our guests go in. Again, this is big cousin. So I first started learning a lot about mathematics with music. Again, watching them, they were making beats, and my father was dealing a lot with music. But when I was in school, I was able to be in a school that actually had a class for it. So in that class, we was able to kind of start dealing with the intricacies of building beats, understanding time signatures, understanding placements, understanding crescendos, they crescendos and how they play a part into it. And even like he was saying last week, it was a big thing where in the spiritual sense, there are certain ways that music is played, and you can recognize music in cultures in different parts of the world by the way that they articulate their music. It's almost like another language. So I was able to dive into that at a young age in school because we actually had classes that taught us about that. And I applied it to my music, being a jazz musician, understanding the way that music affects people and the type of vibrance that it'll bring. I was able to build my own band and I was actually able to make a decent amount of money as a 15, 16-year-old traveling all throughout the South playing jazz music because it was a genre that was starting to die off and people really liked young people playing real instruments. So we found a niche. And in that niche, a close group of my friends, we was able to make a lot of money and get a lot of great experiences. Um, so yeah, but the mathematics behind music is it's so interesting. At one point, they didn't even know that sound created forms. They have like an experiment where they pour like I think it's like little salt, and they'll test frequencies using the keyboard, and each frequency will create a shape, which really
Mm-hmm.
dives into the importance of when you're selling and you're advertising music and artists, because there are certain genres that require certain sounds in order for the fans of the genre to even look your way. Not meaning you got to
Yep.
go outside of yourself, but you have to be able to articulate, I am a pop artist, I am an R&B artist, I am a country artist. So that's my little 4 cents on it. Tell us about it, Jamari, and what you really experienced, especially seeing as how you have got a chance to be in the shoes as the musician and as the producer and as the guy working and building the studio and running the studio. What have you experienced as far as working with different artists and in that way of how music affects people and how it kind of transitions to their way of thinking?
I would say, one, you 1,000%, 1,000% correct. Like even like if you think about the key is important, the key that the song is put in, how you play it, how it's delivered, the sounds that you use, like especially if you're doing like pop, hip hop, more electronic based music, you have to make sure that you have sounds like Luke said, like that are reminiscent or within that genre. So like if you're doing a hip hop beat, you can't use a piano that sound like something that belongs over here. I mean, you could, because hip hop is a amalgamation of like several different things. But it has to be authentic to the feel of what it is that you're creating. Even so much so, like if you something I recently realized or found out is that a lot of funk music is in the key of E minor. You know what I'm saying? Um, why that is, I guess, just the feel of it, how musicians play in it. It translates to just a funky key to play in. A lot of our favorite funk songs are in the key of E minor. It also happens to be my favorite key, which is I don't know why, but I just gravitate towards it.
My favorite key as well, brother. Mine as well.
Yeah, yeah. I don't necessarily know what it is, but um, like Luke was saying, it is mathematics, but it's also um, to I guess to kind of simplify it for those who aren't very mathematically um, savvy like me. I'm not good at math, but um, it's all frequencies. You know what I'm saying? So like Luke was saying, if you're doing a hip hop song or a pop song, you got to have that 808. You got to have something that's knocking in the 40 hertz, 50 hertz, 60 hertz. You got to have that sub frequency. I recently realized, that a lot of those sub frequencies, if you want to dive into like some of the Hindu or chakras or whatever, like that's actually it's a lower frequency of I guess understanding or feeling a lot of those sub frequencies. That's why you got a lot of songs that are about violence. They use what I'm saying, like it's so much so many intricacies about you know what you're using, how you're using it, what you're saying. Even the words that you use or the lines that you may say. Definitely power. The power of life and death is in the tongue. Like you can't say certain things because it manifests into real life. You know what I'm saying? Like all of these things are important to music, and yeah, we can have a good time and turn up and do all of these things, but the way that music feels, it affects more than people think.
All right, y'all. Man, listen. Hey, I'm liking this conversation right now because
I keep
people
going, man.
yeah. Yeah, people don't understand and realize like the importance of different sounds and frequencies and how music can actually heal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if anybody want to talk about that real quick.
I honestly I don't know much about the healing side, but I know Janae Aiko, she released the entire album that was made, the instrumentation was made with um what do they call it? I think it's like the singing bowls or um I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
But the singing bowls, like they produce frequencies that are, it motivates that healing that you were talking about. I know, like, even, my son is autistic, so I know when we were talking about therapy, ABA therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, one of the things that was floating around as well was music therapy. You know what I'm saying? My son learned how to talk, by listening to songs. You know what I'm saying? Listening to the words of those songs. So music and music therapy and all of these things it's a much needed thing, and I think that it's something that people should look into a little bit more, and shouldn't just write off as this holistic ideology. It could be something that could be helpful for a lot of people if we actually looked into it.
That I definitely agree. That's why I always try to emphasize how there are so many, well funded studies that are proving what we've already kind of known, but in a way that's articulated to the scientific community, to where it's like this is very beneficial. It's something we already got in our tool bag.
Hmm.
Let's use it for the things outside of just entertainment. And I also have a very close friend that started studying that very genre of music therapy. And we kind of always known it existed. You ever seen the shows where they will put the headphones on the women's bellies as the child is coming, and all of these different things to try to influence or to try to create a certain type of mentality. But
Absolutely.
if we look at the way time has been created, and I always say this, we're on a floating rock. We have to find something to do. Music has been one of those things that have kind of created the culture around us, building around, the different book writers, the different architects. It's created that music in the background, that inspiration. Somebody might pick up a pen and begin to write something beautiful or write a beautiful book, but they have music in the background. Or you might see the workers when you're going past the construction site, and you hear them bumping their music. Music has
Hmm.
this kind of background overlay effect on all cultures. And I just think, again, like I say, it's one of those things that we learn to utilize more and more. So that's why I like how you put it. And it is becoming something way more than just, oh, that sound nice. That feel good. No, like scientists are like, yo, this is
Yeah.
nice. We've been using it for a long time. Let's see if we can
I,
keep using it for other things. Yeah.
I seen this meme the other day, and it was like, we need to figure out the science behind people driving faster when they hear they certain song. You hear that song to get you pumped up. You know what I'm
That
saying? You
definitely happens
immediately.
to me. That definitely happens to me.
Yeah,
we
that's
need
the
we need to
seat, the
figure out what
tempo.
that is.
The
We need to figure out.
tempo. It's
Yeah.
the
It's that
tempo.
tempo for
That's what
sure,
it
for sure,
is. Yeah, it
for
gets you
sure,
So,
going.
for sure,
so I gotta
for
ask,
sure.
gentlemen, am I the only person when I'm looking for an address that I turn the music down? Like I don't know why, but when I'm
Yeah, I do
looking
the
for some
same
numbers,
thing.
I have to turn the music down
For some
so
reason,
I
I
can
can see
focus
better
on
when I
looking.
turn it down.
Same.
That's it.
Exactly.
I'm the same. As I get close to the place where I'm going, I'm like, okay, let me see. It's gonna help me focus more or something. I don't know.
Exactly. Because my eyes are definitely where my ears are. So I gotta
Yeah,
have both. Yeah, it's the craziest thing.
it's
Yeah.
wild.
On bro, I put on some Waka Flocka when I want to get on the E-way and drive fast. I ain't doing the speed limit. Bow, bow, bow.
Yeah, that Waka Flocka gonna make you get a ticket, man. That's it's
I,
two turn.
I got a couple of them before speeding. I ain't gonna lie. But definitely want to piggyback off of or just go back to the whole, like you say, the singing bowl and the healing things of different instruments you can use for healing, for sound. Israel, I know that, you know, when we put on blessings and things in at church and in the nation, you know, there are certain tools that we use sometimes for the people, for them to go home with and use for healing and things of that nature. Do you recall anybody with the singing bowl before?
I haven't, but I think it was written down somewhere. But I
Okay.
know as far as like I forgot what it's called, but I don't know if it's I forget what Reiki is, if that got
Mm-hmm.
something similar to do with it. But I forget the exact bowl. But you know where they got the bowl and then they got that one tool and it's like they put it around the rim in a circular motion or something
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Yeah,
And
that's the singing bowl. Yeah.
yeah, that's what it's called.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, they be having those, and then just depending on the, I say the tempo of the music, um, the song. You know, sometimes the song, cause it'll be like the different key or whatever song. That like for me, it seemed like that song and that key will put you somewhere else mentally, and then that'll take you somewhere, and then some songs it's like you can feel your spirit shift where it's like yo you feel something where it's like man all of a sudden I feel different, you know.
Yeah.
Man, you
And
gotta
it,
have somebody real dope on that organ for that to happen.
yeah, they gotta be what they call it. I think his name was Third John. I think it was Third John. Second John. Which one was on the west side?
Third John, I think.
Yeah, he used to say tickle those ivory keys or something
Mm.
with the organ and stuff like that.
What was
With
that
it.
second John? They gonna kill us for us not knowing. It's either second or third John. Um, I was thinking about how how you say like in a reaction or like something you feel each year for me. I don't know how this is for y'all, but each year for me, once they get to sing and take me to the water, oh, it just takes me back. It just takes me back to that time of being baptized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The music definitely has that effect. I think we utilize that a lot in the nation on the ability of and the importance of doing the same songs for certain things. It creates a certain connection that you can have with multiple generations. Oh, I'm about to break something down that ain't never been broken down before. I feel it coming. Okay, so when you're looking at it, and I did talk about this at one point. The beautiful thing about creating the culture and the repetitiveness of the culture, you're able to connect with multiple generations without ever having to know them. Because once something becomes sentimental to you, whether someone goes on the other side of the world, maybe they may go to Georgia, maybe they may go to California. Once something becomes important to you, that song resonates with you, they may go to a whole nother temple. They may not even be Coptic. They just may have been there and they got a chance to experience it. It creates culture. It creates something that you can expect from a group of people that are going to deliver the same thing consistently. And a lot of times when people and nations take advantage of these things, it actually benefits them in the long run because it creates then what is called a holiday. Holidays are the same things. The same thing happens over and over again, and then you start learning how to capitalize off your own celebration. You start learning how to gain from your own celebration. So, I've always enjoyed things like that too. I feel the same way, Solomon. When you hit Take Me to the Water, reminds me of when I went down there because we've all then either been at the water, heard somebody talking about the water, and that song comes into mind. So we're able to relate in so many different ways, even though all four of us have come from different sides of it and different, parts of how it's all been grown and built up. But before I let y'all go in, somebody said something interesting and it made me think about it. We was talking about the math and stuff, and even with like certain songs, I do think that um, wise people over time have created an advantage of the buildings and the way that they build. And I think this plays a big part into the Masons. that were constructing temples and they were constructing places of worship. There's a certain way they were constructing them, but you got to remember Masons were also musicians, and some of the greatest musicians were very high level Masons. But it was a certain way that they were able to build things to where the frequency and the vibration resonated with the people, and that's where people will begin to say that healing becomes an impairing thing because it's I feel something going on. But in reality, like
Mm-hmm.
I say, these things you can kind of replicate once you understand the ancient science and the wisdom, which is all open to the world now. The writing is on the wall. You start seeing why. All right, I see why Prophet Peter was able to capitalize off of the way True Temple of Solomon is built and the way that those empresses and those queens, one of them was my grandmother, was able to draw people in that vibration, that feeling, that holiness, that pureness outside of the world and all the crazy stuff that's going on. In this place, I feel like I can just get a chance and get a break from it because that music, that vibration is so powerful. So yeah, I can go on for days and days about that, but y'all brothers take it over.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, what'd you say about that, Israel? Like, take us to some of your memories and some songs that kind of stood out to you at your temple.
I ain't even gonna just say at my temple. I'll just say at other ones as well, because it was times where we would go when I was a student. I remember one time in particular. This was back when Prophet Joshua was still living, and you know him and Empress Leah, they had they church over on Damon, you know, and it was like we was there. I forget why we was going there. What event they had going on. But it was like I was coming from across the parking lot. And it was like, and to me, it looked like it was up in there. It was like the building was like swaying from like side to side. It was like it was jumping up inside. And then they had saying one of the
Oh,
songs
that
like
was lit then.
one of the
For
songs I
real.
used to love them sing over there is Spirit Moving. When they be singing that, they used to get down. Mugs used to be shouting. And it used to be the musicians used to get down, and it was just like that kind of sort of like call response cadence to that song. And I don't know, people don't sing it that much now. Either they don't know it or they forgot about it, or because it was like it was a couple of times I sang it at my church, and it was like when Empress Leah and them came over to our church, and then they members knew the song. Some of my members ain't know the song, but then I sang it before, and then it's like some of them forgot the song. I'm like, this is the old song. Y'all don't know the words. It's like a call and response type of thing. But it would be those songs like Spirit Moving around Passover, or you know when somebody they about to lay hands. They used to do that, sing that song a lot. And then it'd be times where we when they used to sing "Made It On Over," it was like, all right, when they sing this, usually it'd be around Passover or something like that, or that'd be the Empress song between that and it was another song. What was the other song? Uh, I don't know. I forget what other song was the song that's like the Empress's song. Y'all.
um,
We've come
we
this
come this
far
far
by
by faith.
yeah.
That one too, and I don't know. Just some of those songs from older back in the day. They don't sing too often no more because those original ones who sang it either not around and people just ain't heard it, or they forgot the words.
Yeah, and I've noticed that as
Well, I
well.
know. Hold on, wait. I know one song though that I know to it's time for me to leave out because I know they about to charge is when they be talking about fire.
Yeah, they don't be
Got that
singing that.
Holy Ghost fire.
They don't be singing that too often no more. At least they
We just
don't. You know, y'all
they
y'all
just
still.
they just sung that on Sunday and mine and tell their own self up. Actually, it's so interesting y'all said that because Jamari Mama used to kill that song. That's why I'm like
Yeah.
the music flow. Now when my granny was singing, it's always like you got the raw singers. You know, it was like a few of them with my granny. They was the raw ones, and then you had the young ladies that were looking up to them. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so interesting because she was one of the singers that really reminded me of my grandmother. The way she sung and the way she presented herself as a woman, as a singer. When she
Mm-hmm.
came to the mic, it just had, you could tell that there was a certain training. And I've always valued that. I've always valued how you can see that correspond with her, and even with my leader today. That she was in that number where they were watching my granny and they were able to present themselves as elegant women, but still with powerhouses. So
Absolutely.
Jamari know,
Absolutely.
because she would be singing. We would used to have what was that we used to do? We used to do like family events, and we'll be in the
Mm-hmm.
basement and we'll pull out the keyboard, and music was just a big part of our way of life, our culture, the way we expressed ourselves and family. Even when we would go out to events and have barbecues and stuff like that, we would do whatever we could to incorporate music into us. So
I will say too, kind of going back to how y'all saying, those songs of old transcending, generations and timelines. Is I One of my favorite songs was "Ain't No Grave," and it was
King no
out.
grave.
Yeah, so it's a crazy story, right? So I went down this rabbit hole of just music. I was listening to everything from country to rock to jazz to I'll listen to anything, right? And I stumbled upon Johnny Cash, and I'm like, okay, they they call him the man in black, he's Johnny Cash, like and I realized he has a song called "Ain't No Grave." It's the same exact song.
I
It's
heard
written the
his
same
version.
way. You heard his version, right? So
Yeah.
I had
Was
asked
that the
my granny.
version on Django?
I believe so.
Yep.
Okay.
I believe so. But I had heard it before that, and I was like, I asked my granny. I was like, Granny, this 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 the same thing. And I went down a rabbit hole. One of my favorite pastimes is going down the rabbit hole of artists and their inspirations, like where you know okay, he this is a white man, singing country songs. Where did he get this from? You know what I'm
But you
saying?
gotta
And
remember, my bad to cut you off. It
no,
was
you
a
good.
lot back then. It was a lot of black artists creating songs, and then the white artists to come and create the same songs.
Absolutely, they would do that, but also Johnny Cash was one of those white artists that will tell you, like, hey, I got this from. He grew up in a Southern Baptist church, so this is what he was listening to as he was coming up. You know what I'm saying? Um, and it just was always real um, interesting to me how even like in my music, how I tie in, spiritual aspects or certain like Israel said, call and response things, to kind of give that tribal like African roots, what I'm saying, feel like that still, we as black people specifically, we still feel that in our music today. You know what I'm saying? That's something that's ingrained in us. That's why we like drums. That's why we like beats. That's why we like bass. That's why we can hear a certain pattern and it gets us, all moving a certain way because that's ancestral. That's something that we just, like you drop a fish in water and it just knows how to swim. That's something that we just have innately. You know what I'm saying? Our love of rhythm and beats and the communication in that. I just thought that was real interesting how all of these things tie together. Obviously, it all comes from black people. We know that already. But just seeing how all of these things just go, it's amazing to me for real.
Yeah, and it reminds me of just like how we are when it comes to class. Understanding that before we get into the lesson of that night or who's ever teaching that day, we always start off with the home and the goal. And the home, that type of frequency and sound is getting us prepared to I want to say focus in and get to that point and meta of being able to open our ears and listen and receive and download the information with whatever teacher is trying to give to us. That is also a form of meditation that they do. That they just not the home, because when you do it's OM, but we put HOME and the home of the OM in it. You get what I'm saying? It's the same type of frequency, but it sounds just a bit different. We might have a reasoning for, like, we put a definition to explain why we're saying home or why we're saying gold. But all of this is the same thing, as in putting that frequency out there so that we can do something after.
Yeah.
Hey man, y'all done got deep today.
Absolutely.
Y'all done got deep today.
Absolutely.
Before we let you out of here, Jamari, I just want to ask, basically, your business part of everything. How can people be able to reach out to you, work with you, and things of that nature?
Yeah, so currently my business is under a revamp. I was just like anybody and everybody who are trying to start a business or trying to live throughout their purpose, or find a way to also help somebody else in what it is that they do. I was searching, so I was making beats, started making beats, realized I didn't have anybody to rap on the beats at the time, so I was like, I got some stuff that I jotted down, so I started rapping. Okay, it's all right. I need a hook for this beat. I can hold a note a little bit. Let me put a hook down. And these things just trickle down into skill after skill after skill based off of what it is that I needed. I didn't have those resources or that help. So right now, from just being producer, just being artist, just being mix engineer, just being these different things, live sound engineer, I'm transitioning into a more of a content space. I realized that like I said before, one of my greatest goals or one of my greatest passions or fulfillment is the teaching aspect of it. I've never been a school person. You know what I'm saying? I could go to school if I wanted to, but the information and the knowledge that I received and just literally doing music and being in this industry at a smaller level, making money, learning things, making mistakes, investing wrong, figuring all of that out, I realized that it's I can help more people on a wider scale if I'm talking in a way in which we are, like a camera. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
And I'm putting out, you see, you feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm putting out pieces of information so somebody in Turkey can hear what I'm
Yeah.
saying and they can learn from me. Somebody, when I have my studio and I'm on a one-to-one basis, with my clients, I can just talk to one or two, maybe 3, 4, 5 people at a time. You know what I'm saying? But one person that I've been listening to a lot lately, Myron Golden, if y'all ever heard of him, he's a pastor and a multi-millionaire from different investments and businesses that he's created. He teaches Bible. He teaches business from a Bible perspective. You know what I'm saying? He tells you, okay, one of the first things that God told us is, man, the first thing that God told us to do was be fruitful and multiply. It's the first thing he told us to do. He told us to take care of this land, be fruitful, multiply, subdue it. He gave us these specific things that he wanted us to do. He talks about those things you know, from a Bible perspective. The first thing God told us about himself is that he is creative. You see what I'm saying? He said, in the beginning, God created. You know what I'm saying? He created. That's the first thing he did from what we understand. So I realized that from knowing that from listening to this guy's teachings is that um it's a part of God's purpose for us to use our gifts, our insights, the things that we've learned, the things that I've learned over the last 10, 12 years, to invest in those around us. Our gifts are not for us. You see what I'm saying? And just using that to create content as God did in the Bible, you know what I'm saying, or in different religious texts, using his understanding and his wisdom and his knowledge to place, in different places for people to look and grasp and say, oh man, I'm not even a religious person, but this rapper, from Chicago, he said this thing here. And I'm like, man, that resonates with me. I could feel that. You know what I'm saying? This ain't even who I am, but this right here, like, man, that makes me want to dive deeper into something else. So that's where I'm at right now. Indigo is in the currently in the business of creating content to help other people. I will also continue to release music, and just offer a platform, insight, inspiration to any and everybody who's willing to try to pursue this path. You know.
I'm so happy you said what you said because on this show right now you have two young men, Israel and Solomon, that have
Hmm.
invested into the 10x experience. They have been able to understand what you were saying, and I think that's very valuable. You said something so strong, and I hope someone was able to grasp it that you're able to help people all over the world. And so many people are sitting on talents, and I'm guilty of it myself, and not expressing it to all of these wonderful customers who will compensate you for something that they may need, whether it's a song, whether it's a book, whether it's a service, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It's people all over the world who are willing to compensate you in a righteous way. This is the thing.
Hmm.
There's so much meat on the bone. You don't have to do anything illegal. You don't have to do anything
Exactly.
wrong. There's so many things people
Key
need.
word, righteous. Key word.
Exactly.
That's
And
the
that
key
money
word right there.
comes that money comes in a greater way that way because then now you can stand proud about what you're doing. There are some
Yep.
people that have created businesses just from talking to people because people need people to talk to. Now,
Hmm.
if I'm in a subscription and I'm one of them people and I'm enjoying conversation or I'm enjoying therapy or whatever it may be, and I'm paying $10 a month or $15 a month, hey, it's helping my life. If I like to watch Netflix and movies, I'll pay that. So I've always said we have to get in a position as a people to be the receivers of doing these things because we have so many things to offer the world, but not get so caught up on my cousin Pookie didn't support me or my cousin Ray Ray didn't come and see me. No, who cares? The market is huge for you. This whole world, there are people you don't even know that will support what you're doing, and they will be glad
Absolutely.
to pay you for what you are able to offer them, whether it's a service or a product.
And that's one thing I've learned the most is that when it comes down to that support, it's not so much, we do get frustrated and we do feel a way about, hey, this person that, this person this. But what I've learned is that what the Bible say, a prophet is without honor in his own country. You know what I'm saying? It's not to say that they won't, but some people, when they close to you, my pastor taught me this a long time ago. People being close to you makes them very familiar with you. And the issue with familiarity is that it causes people to assume things. So you may have this great idea that God gave you, and you're like, man, I could capitalize off of this. I can take care of my entire family. Everybody gonna eat. I could change the world with this. But because your auntie or your this or your that is familiar with the fact that you tried to ride a bike at the age of 5 and you gave up, they're going to then psychologically, in a way, sometimes it's out of fear, sometimes it's their own fear, sometimes it's their own understanding, psychologically discourage you from doing that thing that God gave you, due to the fact that they, in their mind, it's like, well, how can you do this? How you ain't never accomplished nothing before, so like, what makes you think that you're gonna do that? You know, and it's one of those things where it's like you have to. One thing that I learned is that, especially when it comes down to the support, because in the beginning, I'll be a 1,000% honest. I only had my grandmother who supported me. That 1,000% straight off the
That's
bat.
crazy. Sometimes grandma.
Grandma, yeah, she was the only person that was like, she told me a long time ago, I had a dream. She said, I had a dream you were performing in front of thousands of people. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, I don't even like singing in church. Like, where did you get that from? Like, who, like, God gave you that? I don't know. And here it is, years later, I've accomplished that, and I've done that, and I've written songs that people, are hearing in Africa and all of these different places. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I had to, in order to do that, I had to encourage myself, look within myself and say, you know, God gave me this gift. This is the one thing that I'm a little bit better at than other people. And if I hone this skill, and like Luke said, if I work this land that he's given me, and I till it and I do everything that it is that I need to do, what would happen? What can happen? Because like Luke said as well, when you do it the righteous way and you do it God's way, you get blessings. If you do it the devil's way, you get blessings too. A lot of people don't know that. You know what I'm saying? You get blessings too. They're gonna come with some consequences. Look at Diddy.
I was about
Yeah.
to say the same
I was gonna ask you about that.
Look at Diddy, you know what I'm saying? But then you have guys who, to the world, to the masses, they're not as successful. You have like your D1s, your we could even say, to an extent, Kendrick. Not saying that everything that he's done has been holy or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? You can see the trajectory and the difference in what he gets or what happens, from his path and other people. You see what I'm saying? Because one thing that I learned is, when God gives you something, when you do something with integrity and righteousness, can't nobody take it away from you. It's yours. You feel me? Like, can't nobody say, well, I gave you that opportunity because you did such and such, and now, you ain't doing such and such no more. So now let me take that from you. It's like, no, I got this off of the land that I tilled, the land that I worked. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I got a question, y'all. I got a question for y'all.
so
One, Jamari, real quick, would you work with Kanye West? Yes or no, real quick.
no.
Okay. My second question is, and this for
Can I
everybody.
tell you why real quick?
Go ahead.
Real quick. So I will work with Kanye West because I have two reasons. One, that type of lifestyle and that type of access to things I don't want, and nor do I need. You know what I'm saying? He is undeniably one of my favorite artists, favorite people, creatives ever, right? However, I've worked with people on a smaller scale that are that same type of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't I can only imagine, all the way up there, what type of ego and what type of stuff comes with that. I don't want no parts of that. I don't want parts of that. Plus, the lifestyle and the direction that I'm going in is family first. You know what I'm saying? My family is paramount, and that will require me to do some things and to be away from this family that I created, and I'm not willing to give that up.
Understandable. So
Yeah.
my second question, now that he said he wouldn't work with Kanye, my second question is, do y'all believe, this for everybody, do y'all believe Jay-Z is a top 5 rapper of all time?
He said top 5.
of all time.
So let me ask you, because that's a very broad thing,
Yeah,
right? Are we
yeah.
talking about lyricists? We talking about sales? Are we talking about impact? Are we talking about business wise, like, or are we talking about as a whole? Like,
Just as a whole, put all of what you said into your top 5 list of whatever rappers that you put in there. Does Jay-Z make your list?
Mm,
absolutely.
yeah.
Short
I'm
an-
I'm I'm
short
I'm
answer.
all the way in there. Yeah, yeah. That's a yes for me, sir. Especially
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
add all
What
everything.
about you,
Oh yeah.
Israel?
Um, I ain't even gonna lie. I haven't heard all of his music, all of his albums. I've heard some. You know, I'm familiar with some, but I would say business wise, yes. Musically, I don't know. I'm not experienced in that area to know all of his rap lyrics and the hits and things of that nature. But I know as a businessman, he pretty up there
So
business.
so
But
so I'll give you as a I haven't listened to every single Jay-Z song or album, but as
right,
a Jay-Z fan, I would tell you three projects you have to hear to make your decision.
Oh, let's
These
see if they
are
just top the 3 that I think of. Go ahead.
is one of them the
so
blueprint?
you got to listen. No, four. I'll give you four. So you
Okay,
got to listen to Reasonable Doubt. That's his first
okay,
one. And if you listen to that album, so many different nuggets and jewels that he dropped in there that are worldly in nature, but are biblical in practice. If that makes sense, you know what I'm
okay,
Mm.
saying? It's a lot of stuff in the secular world that has, because the Bible is not a religious book. I believe it has
Mhm.
everything in it,
right.
right?
Mhm.
So he has some nuggets in there that he put in there that was like, yeah. So I would say Reasonable Doubt.
Right.
I would say the Black Album. Gotta
Yes, the
listen to the
Black
Black
Album.
Album.
Yes.
You gotta listen to the Black Album. I would say 444.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that. I
And
like. I
okay,
like.
okay. And I would
He
say,
he
I would
surprised me
say,
with that 444 album.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Because I mean, because what this is the reason why. This is the reason why I say this. These are the reasons why I say those three, right? Everybody got their other things and they other pig blueprint too, yada yada yada, right?
Mm.
Reasonable doubt, you get a Jay-Z that is basically trying to prove himself. He's 27, 26 years old. He's in the industry. You know what I'm saying? Everybody counted him out. And he basically said, I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to invest in myself, show y'all what I can do, right? You got
Right.
Hungry Jay. Black Album, you got Jay at what it at his peak, but he's retiring. But this is the best body of work in its entirety that he created. Every song from top to bottom is damn near a hit. You feel me? Every
Okay.
song on that album. And then 444 is, so for me, you have to understand the context of an album and where it's coming from, where that artist is at in their life when they create it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a piece of work that art imitates life. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be able to be like, okay, Jay-Z went through this and he did that, and this is why he's creating this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And 444 is like, after I cheat on Beyonce, after I'm thinking that I'm this great guy and I'm unpacking all of my flaws, this is what I come up with after that.
That was
That's
a
why
good
you got to
album.
listen to that.
One of
I've
the
listened
name of
to
the
that
songs of the
back to back.
album was called Kill Jay-Z.
Yeah, he was killing the ego. He was killing the
Yeah.
ego.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
What about well, I was gonna say Watch the Throne, but that was a joint album.
Watch the Throne to me is one of the weakest Jay-Z performances.
He got a couple of hits on there, but I
He
ain't gonna doubt you.
he did, but I'll tell you why, right? Um, he has some to me, in my opinion, he has some of his worst bars on that album. He 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 didn't really like really. Go back and listen to your best Jay-Z verses. Go back and listen to Watch the Throne. He did not deliver. Kanye shined him on that album.
Yeah. That's why I was like, it was more so a joint
He
album.
outshined him. And it's hard sometimes when you have a producer that's also a rapper, because my homie, I'm in a group with one of my homies, and I make all of the beats, right? But I also rap. He says the same thing. Like, it's hard because we approach the music and we hear the music way differently than just a rapper. While we're creating this song, we laying down the keys, we putting the bass, we doing the drums. We didn't already mapped out the world that this song lives in, right? Whereas he's just getting to it like, oh, okay, I can put a line right here, I can say this. He's just surface level. He right here. We didn't already crafted this entire thing as creators. So Kanye completely, to me, like he outshines him on at every turn to me. I don't know.
I'm gonna go back and listen.
You bring up a good point though, because I've noticed that we're walking into certain studios having to work with producers. If I'm coming in as the guy that's coming in to work with what you created, I have to come with the understanding I'm walking into your matrix. Now, my goal is to become the Neo of your matrix so that I can express all of the areas of what you created. Versus if
Mm-hmm.
I create the song, if I created the entire universe, like you said, it's a different feeling towards it. But I've noticed with the music industry, it can play two ways with those type of artists. There's another artist like that, Dr. Dre. Notice Dr. Dre approaches music very different. When
Mm-hmm.
he hit hard, but he don't hit often. Jay-Z is the same way. When he hit hard, but he don't hit often. Now
Pause,
Kanye,
man.
well,
Pause.
yeah, pause. Uh, yeah, we in a different area now. I'm a drummer, so I'm thinking of it that way. But
Right.
I look at Kanye as being from a whole nother universe though, because Kanye can come, he can just go back to back to back, where it's like he's releasing multiple different projects. And that's why I understand why you say that world will cause you to have to go from your family and all of that, because Jay-Z and them were, to me, they Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, these guys were, when they're coming out and you hear their voice on a project, you do have to sit back for a second and take awe, because you like they talking right now. Usually they're producing. Usually they're getting the artist out and working the
Mm-hmm.
behind the scenes of what's going on. From Dr. Dre really building up Snoop Dogg, and he was handling the whole West Coast. Everybody's at his house. He's not on every song, but he's on every song. So
Yep.
you all really do take a different position because you're still a part of it, but you may not be the one everybody was talking about. And we talked about this a few episodes when it came to Michael Jackson and those artists of the greats, how they were pulling the greatest musicians and creating hits after hits. Michael Jackson was a genius at it. If you look at majority of his songs, it's made by the same bass keyboard players. He just used them at different times and different seasons, and then when he did, it would be a hit after hit after hit after hit. So there
Absolutely.
is a structure behind like really getting these songs out and getting them big. But I have to agree with you. Jay-Z to me is like he's the one that he captured the aspect of producing. He captured the now the marriage to me took him from being possibly in the top five to definitely in the top five. The reason I say that is because the marriage to me was a different level for hip hop. To go and marry into the business. Yeah, it's been done before, but you really did marry high, which created your network bigger. It made you look bigger,
Mm-hmm.
and it emphasized the importance of marriage. To me, whether we
Absolutely.
can nitpick it all we want, but you're marrying one of the top female artists. It don't matter if you're one of the top male artists anymore. You're now
Mm-hmm.
one of the top. You all have
Right.
created
Right.
a platform. You have a new area of what's to look at you. So then now you mess up 444 come out. you're able to capitalize off of this type of relationship. Which, like I said, we could talk about it all we want, but it makes millions of dollars no matter what area we're talking about, whether it's movies or music. When things
Mm-hmm.
happen in the world, or even news or politics, when things happen in the world, it determines whether you make your way into the top 10 or the top 5 or the top 3 positions in your career. So,
Absolutely.
Hey, yeah, I wanted to say, y'all, to answer the question I asked y'all, because I ain't get my answer. He ain't top 5. I don't care what y'all talking about on this podcast. He ain't top 5 to me.
he didn't make the cut.
Okay, so who?
No,
So who is?
he's definitely no, for real. All jokes aside, though, he's definitely one of the most influential rappers of all time. I will give him that, especially because he's a billionaire. And there's who's the other billionaire? Oh, I mean, Dr. Dre. There's nobody else.
Kanye.
Kanye is I'm sorry, and Kanye.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
He
Kanye.
lost
But
a hit.
Kanye not top 5. Kanye probably like top 15, top 10. But it's like
You said
Kanye is more of a
billionaire. Kanye's a billionaire.
okay. Kanye a billionaire. That is a fact. That is a fact. I still wouldn't put Kanye in my top 5 either. And he's dope.
In my top 5.
He's over Jay-Z. And I understand where you coming from, Jamari. You talking about his lyrics and all this stuff, like where he came from at first. Reasonable Doubt, yeah. I have a some type of a tolerance when you giving me all the drug dealing rap. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes I'm a little turn that off. So like I understand that's where he came from. That's his first thing that he came from, straight out of New York or whatever like that. That's what he had to talk about. But I definitely understand why that would be on a list of what to listen to from him. And then going back just from, first of all, Black Album, he said that that was supposed to be the end. He was supposed to be done.
Yeah.
And so when he gave that album, it was like he had to say, his farewell, and he did it very, very well.
Well, when you're a rapper, you never actually retire though.
Yeah.
You do know that, right?
Yeah, I be telling people they should really just write for other people. That's what I really think they should be doing.
Right, so write for other people, sell it, or do something, become something in the background, like. Because there's certain stuff, it's like once you get to a certain level, once you're an entrepreneur, you're a businessman, woman, owner, it's like you can't really retire. So you saying you're going to stop making money? So you're going to retire?
I don't think
you've been doing this long, so now you're going to stop.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think they're able to.
No, because it's your nature to create. I mean, especially if you're good with words. Words never stop. You got to use words. You got to see words. You see, for me, I find inspiration in the smallest things. Like I can see an ant on the ground carrying a leaf. And I'll write a whole couple bars about that. You know what I mean? You can't necessarily, you can't stop it.
I just thought about some bars when you said that.
You see what I'm saying? It's so many different ways you could take that. You talk about strength, you could talk about so much. So you never really, fully retire because, like I said, I've learned that God put a piece of his creativity, an aspect of his creativity in each and every one of us. So it's like you have to be creative. It's in your nature. Like God put us here to create, to build. Me creating a song is no different than a architect building a building. That's his creativity. You know what I'm saying? We have to live through it. You have to get it out. Got to.
Well, what about you said about retiring and stuff like that. T.I. just came down here to Atlanta on the they're doing a performance at this thing called Jingle Ball in December down here at the State Farm Arena. And T.I. stated on a radio station that he is retiring from performing. He said he don't need the money to do that anymore. He don't need to be on stage. So what do you say to that?
I can see that because doing that is expensive. Like a lot of people don't realize, like touring, from what I've learned, I've never actually been on a tour, but it's very expensive. You got a lot of moving parts, you got a lot of staff and people that you got to pay. Um, and at his point, like he said, I mean, Ti, he's from what it seems, he's pretty well off. So it doesn't necessarily make sense for him to have to put himself essentially in the hole, or to invest money, to not essentially make much money, um, to do that. Like, people don't realize, like Ticketmaster, Live Nation, they have like a huge class action lawsuit going on right now, due to the fact that they're basically, for lack of a better word, they're raping the entire industry of all of its nutrients. Basically, they're hidden consumers with tons of fees, and okay, you got this fee, you got a that fee, you got a that, and they're also spiking the prices of all of the tickets, which is making it hard for these artists to stand up to what it is that they're obligated to as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of artists nowadays, due to this Live Nation Ticketmaster merger, they're not really making as much money as they used to on the road.
It's oh, I'm glad you brought that up. To throw some my 3 cent in that. Um, they were saying too that they're feeling like it's because of the insurance that's coming behind insuring these
Mm,
large events. Um, because like I said, I'm interested to see how that goes. Mind you, insurance is going up for everybody. But I was
yeah.
always wondering, is that one of the reasons why the tickets are starting to become so hard? So much more expensive. The artists are, yeah, they may get a little bit more, but they're not really getting a substantially more amount. So why are the tickets going up so high? And the only thing that I can think is it's either they're greedy or what it's costing the venue to cover that many people insurance wise is going up. That's the only
I,
thing that I can think.
I think two things could be true, because I know I had inquired in my town, and I live in a small town in the burbs. I had inquired about throwing like a little mini festival, and they told me I needed $2 million of insurance. And I'm like, for what? I'm like,
Damn, 2 million.
yeah. They said I needed to put up the money to basically insure for $2 million worth of damages.
That's
Now,
crazy.
Israel, go ahead,
exactly.
man. Get that 2 mil.
So I was like, and obviously I'm a way smaller operation, but I'm like, what? Like that's ridiculous. So I believe it is partially them being extremely greedy. The music industry is extremely predatory. Let's just keep it a buck. If you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to move, you don't know how. You got to have a little street knowledge with going into that. You got to know how to not, let people take advantage of you. Got to know how to, look around the corner, make sure it's this and that not going on. It's a lot of things involved in it. A lot of people are here to prey on your thirst and your need to be successful. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people selling dreams. Oh, you give me $100, I'm gonna get you in the room with such and such. It's never that way. They just selling you dreams because they know that this is what you wanted to do since you was 5, literally, and they making a buck off of it. So I believe it is greed. I believe it is insurance. I believe it's the insurance companies being greedy. You
Definitely
feel me?
insurance companies. They so greedy, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Insurance
absolutely.
across the board. Car insurance, truck insurance, health insurance, all of that. When it comes to the
Yeah,
taxes, all type of insurances, they greedy. And then they want to
yeah.
penalize you when you got to make a claim.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then I mean, then you got to think about the tax, stuff too. Like you got to, and I'm sure Israel, I'm sure you could, maybe speak to this too. You got to pay taxes for every state that you perform in. So if you perform in California, you got to pay California state taxes. If you go to Illinois, even though you're a resident of Atlanta or you're a resident of Chicago Illinois, you got to pay state taxes for every place that you go and make money. So it kind of gets to a point where it's like, is it really worth it? If I'm already an established artist to go somewhere else to try to make maybe an extra million when I could just stay at home and release music and still make that million? Not
Nah.
really.
At that point, you gotta look at it different. Where if you trying to expand your reach, is it worth it? Not the money.
Yeah.
You look at the reach. Probably go one place.
Can't do it for the money. Can't do it for the money.
Right at that point, you can't do it for the money. If you're trying to expand your reach, you expand your reach, and then the money gonna come. You got to look at it that way. Because if you know
Right.
it's a loss, it's gonna be a loss. But then you ain't
Right.
gonna never get that reach out there. But you can go out there at least one time so they know you. Do all your promo or your giveaways or whatever, and then have your station, your base where you had to draw people to you. So, you know,
Is what they call a loss leader. It's something that you're going to put forward and something that you're going to do in with the expectation and the understanding that you're going to have a loss. A lot of people, especially smaller artists, they go on tour knowing that they're not going to make any money. But like Israel said, they know that they're going to get that reach, so they don't expect to come back with $1 million or come back rich. I know guys that have been on tour with the Migos and been on tour with such and such, and they back home chilling. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that, not trying to diminish what they was able to do, but I mean, it's just the reality of it.
No, I need that check. I ain't going on tour before they tell me go anywhere. I need that advance first.
Advance. Look,
You gotta pay that back too.
Right. You better make sure your work is worth the advance.
Because you got to pay that back too. Everything in the music industry is a loan, man. That's why I put up my own money. I invest my own time. I invest my own time in learning skills. So, if I want to pay somebody, if I need to pay somebody, I'll do it. But from top to bottom, from the concept of idea to actually putting it out to artwork to mixing, mastering, I've learned how to do all of that stuff myself. I keep all of the money in my pocket. The things that I don't know how to do, I outsource some friends, musicians, videographer, these different things, art forms that I haven't tapped into. I'm not a proficient, musician of anything, but I know a lot of different things. So for me, it's like I could play keys, but I'd rather have my homie who plays keys play the keys. You know what I'm saying? So I'll invest in him. But it's
I'm
a
the
lot of
same
money.
way, bro. I'm the same way. I edit, I write, and I publish my own books. I don't got nobody else to do it for me.
Yeah.
If I might need some outsourcing or something, if I need some illustrations, then I go because I know I don't know how to draw like that. I ain't Picasso or Michelangelo or none of that. But I definitely can put some words together.
Right. And that's the thing, like with us black business owners too, we have to, once we get it to a point where we are generating profit, then we have to learn how to scale, which means that, okay, so once the podcast gets to a place or the books get to a place where it's like, okay, we generating some money. Okay, I'm gonna pay this person to edit. I'm gonna pay this person to do this. So you can keep focusing on writing. You can keep focusing on coming up with ideas, and you could just push that off to somebody else and do it. And then they send it back. Okay, that's good. That's good. Put that out. Okay, but I'm still over here writing my next masterpiece. You feel me? So that's where I feel like our next level is scaling those businesses to be able to reach those next heights.
Well, Luke, go ahead, man. This is something that Luke tells me all the time. He talk about this all the time.
I love the concept of scaling because I got into. I was able to make wasn't crazy amounts of money. I mean, at the time, I had my first child on the way. I had just got into like the Shopify and the online world, so I just chance to really them cha-chings come into your phone and make the money just doing whatever, or it's a whole nother world. And I mean, that's why I say now the meat is so much more meat on the bone, regardless of whatever industry you're in. And you hit a very important part about scaling, especially like in the content creation world. There are a lot of ways to scale it to where you're able to focus more on creating content, or you're able to focus more on creating, music or writing books or building business. Um, that was something I always knew from Israel. Like we just knew him as the traveling one. He was gone. He working with this person, he working with that person. But it
Yes, sir.
reminds us, yeah, the world is big. He would remind us that, like, yeah, there's a lot of money in other places. And now we got social media where we can say, hey, let's just start it. Don't cost nothing. It don't cost nothing to tell your story. The question is, are you able to find the fish that belong to you in this world? And if you find them, you will be successful. Like it's just
Yep.
without a shadow of a doubt. Whether you're selling candles, whether you're selling incense or lip gloss, it does not matter. People want things because it helps them get through life. It helps them enjoy life, look better. They may want a book to read on their lunch break. They may want to listen to a podcast while they're working in the office. All of these things are commodities that you can make money from, and you're still benefiting the people you're making money. We had my auntie Brenda on for insurance. People need insurance. We just had a hurricane down in Florida. You really think these people are mad about paying insurance now? No. Now they need it.
Yep.
So all of
Yep.
those people who have sold them insurance, I mean, come on. This is how the world works. When everybody is eating, when everybody is happy. To me, that's the greatest business. That's the greatest way of making money when everybody is there. So
Absolutely.
My bad. Fellas, we didn't have a wonderful conversation. Jamari, I am very happy that you came onto the platform to share with us. Um, I'm gonna be calling you because I definitely got something that I haven't that I need to work with you with. So
Okay.
we appreciate you for coming on. Like I say, just before you head out, if anybody want to contact you or anything like that, tell them where they can find you and how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, I'm Jamari, Jamari, Michael on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever it is that you use, just JAMARI, MIKELL. And for my company, it is Indigo Entertainment Group. That's one word, Indigo Entertainment Group. You can find me on all platforms there as well.
Any last questions, fellas, before we let them go?
No, I think that's everything.
now I'm good. We're free, like
Thank you
Solomon
for
said. We
coming through for
appreciate
sure. Giving us
you.
that
Yeah.
much knowledge and information.
Man, thank you for having me, for real. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you, bro. I'm gonna hit you up a little bit later.
All right. See
All
y'all.
right.
All right. Peace.
All right, fellas.
This was a very successful.
That was awesome, right? Like
Another
that was low
successful.
key last minute. I ain't gonna hold y'all. That wasn't even. That was
Yeah,
last
that's
minute.
what's up. You gave us some
Um,
good info.
yeah, it was fun talking about
That's the
music.
best time.
It's fun talking about music. I had to change the title of the episode. We talked about music the whole episode.
We hit all aspects. We hit what then? Hit everything.
Yeah, y'all was getting deep over there, man. I thought I felt like I was in class. Before we head out, guys, let's just mention, because it was one of the topics. It was really the only topic I thought about today. But Elon Musk has revealed his new Tesla robots.
Man, they look like iRobots. He stole it.
Speaking of, the director of the movie is on Elon ass. He talking about, hey, yo, you stole the design from us.
And look, I didn't even see it. I can tell you right now he did.
I mean, well, let's be honest. Whatever he would have designed it, they would have said it. How was he supposed to design it? Like,
Big Elon just walked into a lawsuit.
hey, you better pay them off. Hey, this company is about to make trillions. Okay, this is. They might. Hey, they said Elon might be the next dark villain in the world. He
He
sure getting
might
in
be.
position
I
to
want
do
to
it.
see his action.
I'm not. He might be, bro. He ain't got
Getting a
some
little
stuff.
scary.
He could be
He
the
want,
next Two-Face. He could be the next Joker. He could be the
man,
next what's his dog? Goblin.
what's the
Green
Oscar Mayer
Goblin.
movie that he was in there like this? What's that
Hey.
one?
Look,
Ah, man,
definitely he could be him. Dr. Evil.
man, dude,
I
he,
want $1 million.
man, he take the power to a whole nother level. He said, "I'm gonna be in control of Mars before y'all get there. I'm already there." Ah,
That man has the self-driving taxis. He has the new Tesla models. He has the new the truck, the trailers, or do he have just the trucks itself, the semi?
I think the trucks, but I don't know if
oh,
they
the
all out.
semi truck out as well.
His
You talking
Okay,
about
he
theme
the?
got
song
those,
need to
and
be
then
"We
now
Taking Over."
he has the rocket ships that is going to go save those 2 astronauts that's stuck in space. And then now he just unveiled the Model Gen 3 robots, Tesla robots.
When he get a Gen 3, did he have a 2 and a 1 already or no?
Yeah, yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Never knew.
yeah. But they just had a whole press release of the Gen 3 robots that actually does look like our robot. I was just watching the movie earlier. On a scale of 1 to 10, guys, because you know this is Israel's fault. He the one that said all this stuff about Jumanji. So now
Oh,
we
yeah.
on the next level of Jumanji with the robots. On a scale of 1 to 10, fellas, how worried are y'all about these robots?
Man, right now, I'll say a 5 because usually with all the new stuff, they be trash coming out. Just like the iPhones. You know, don't buy the iPhone, the new iPhone when it first come out. Get it 6 to 9 months after it come out. Then all the kinks and stuff is worked out. These robots he got probably gonna be fighting each other first. And then they gonna learn how to fight people. So we ain't gotta worry about it. They gonna break themselves off first. And then once they
They're
stop doing
supposed to
that,
be in your home.
huh?
They're these robots are the home robots. They're supposed to be able to fold your clothes and stuff like that.
That's crazy. I say I'm a 5 right now. I'm not worried about it. Maybe when he get the Tesla phone, then we could start worrying. That's what I want. I buy the Tesla phone now. He can make that phone $1,500, make it rent. I pay for it. Put me on some payment and get that
Not
T
the
phone.
Tesla phone.
It's gonna be called the TP 180, Tesla phone 180.
What about you, Luke?
I'll say on a scale from 1 to 10, 3. I'm not too much worried about it right now.
This man making
Um,
robots.
yeah, because the reason I'm not too much worried about it because I feel the Matrix is inevitable. I mean,
Okay.
we're in this simulation.
Who said that? Agent Smith. Okay, Agent Smith. I am
Yeah.
inevitable.
Hey, let's look at what's going on right now, okay? But outside of just the robots, you got election year, you got so much going on. You got these hurricanes. I mean, it's like at some point, some days I just sit here and I just be like, this is really it right here. This is what's going on. This is happening. Okay.
We got a lot
But
of stuff going on in 2024.
it's exactly. So it's
Man.
like it's hard to surprise me now. That's why I say I'm at a 3. Because if they were to try to take over the world, I wouldn't even be surprised. It's just like we've been saying. So we're now I'm waiting on the new Will Smith to come out and start jumping off of buildings and stuff. That's gonna be the next thing. I don't know.
I see y'all alert level is too low for me. I'm at a level 10 already because
You're at 10
listen,
already.
hear me out. I'm at a level 10 already because first of all, you just named all the stuff why I should be worried about stuff this year. You on top of that, you give me the self-driving cars with the self-driving taxi / Uber.
Hold
And
up.
then you
He
give
did
me
all of
some
this year. This year, right?
This is all dropping this year, all in 2024. And this is your fault, Israel, because you said that we is in the game right now and we trying to get to the end. I guess I gotta go to the end to win the game, but I'm scared to see what's next because now after the election in November, I'm trying to figure out what they gonna do in December. Is they gonna bring out the aliens after that? What they doing?
At this point, Big Elon is at number 10 for the people to watch out. To watch out for Big Elon, because he's doing a lot of creating, a lot of inventions.
Ain't nobody stopping him.
Nope. Let me start creating. Let me get back up in my repertoire. My sepulcher. What they call it? The sepulcher. Let me get back up in there and start dropping stuff. Just boop, boop.
Well, I'm telling you,
I'm gonna add him on Twitter. Be like, "Where your book at?" He gonna write it with AI. It's gonna be out the next day. Man,
I'm gonna try that though. I'm gonna try to see what Chat GPT do.
yeah, I'm gonna tell Chat GPT. What you call it? Chat GPT.
GPT, yeah.
Yeah, I think you got to pay for it after a while. I'm gonna tell it to write me a book. I'm gonna see how that goes. Huh?
It gets fun. Your mind, what you start doing is trying to think of the craziest things you can think to see if it's able to replicate it. Kind of where the fun part starts coming in.
It's all fun and games until all his good inventions turn on us. Because think about it like this: what if you get in one of these self-driving taxis or Ubers, and then you trying to miss your stop, and it just keep driving? You like, where's we going?
Look, it was a movie. I forget what movie it was, but it was a movie where all the Teslas was crashing. Y'all seen that movie?
Yeah.
I forget.
It's on Netflix. It is called. Oh my goodness, you making me blank right now.
I forget the movie. I done seen so many movies, I forget the title. But them mugs are malfunctioning. This Tesla, after Tesla, just coming, it seemed like 100 miles an hour, just boom. Dang. Yeah, what if they start doing that?
That's why I don't want to get in none of them. It's called Leave the World Behind.
Yeah, I think that's it.
It's called Leave the World Behind. Speaking of movies, because I just to remind everybody, on the channel right now is my reaction and a semi breakdown of the movie Blink Twice. Have y'all fellas, have y'all been able to watch that or not, or did you get a chance? Yes, yet?
Nah, I need to watch it. I'm gonna put it on my to watch list. I gotta find somebody to watch it with me.
It's definitely a timely movie. I would say that.
Blink Twice.
It definitely is about just the synopsis, and like I say, I got the kind of a reaction semi breakdown on the channel already. I really dropped it on Friday. It's basically just like Epstein Island and Diddy mixed together.
Oh snap!
That's as best as I can put it without spoiling it.
That's crazy.
Well, fellas, we have had a time today. This was a great episode, family. Episode 22 of the Pharaohs Podcast. Before we get out of here, any of y'all want to say anything before we get out of here?
Thank y'all for tuning in, liking, sharing, and subscribing. Make sure you do that. Give us some questions, comments, and statements for Ask the Pharaohs.
Before we get out of here, yeah. Luke had somebody say something to him in the comment section of the last episode.
He been stepping on
some things up.
We cleared that up. Like I said, I'm gonna say it again.
Oh, stop.
Say it for my brother, because it was my brother who made the comment. So I'm gonna let you know. If you look at what I was saying, it's not the atonement. It's not that the atonement is not deep. of course, the atonement is deep. It's a whole ceremonial ritual. That don't even need to be said. What I was saying is that the argument, if the atonement and if the Passover are the same thing or similar, to me, is not that deep of an argument because it's obviously clear that there are many similarities in both of the traditions. So that's why to me it was like that's not a deep thing. If people was to say that's the third Passover, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Who really cares? I mean, it's another one of our holidays. Whether you call it atonement or what, it had to be rebirthed. Of course, it needed to be introduced to the people again. So however you introduce it to them is the way that you do it. So yeah, that was all. That was just misunderstanding. My brother wanted to learn real learned ones in the nation. So we know he was ready. He was ready.
Yeah. Shout out to Prince Andrew. Because
Absolutely.
he was on that. He was like, "What
He
you
been he,
mean? What you mean?
he been one of the
What you
ones.
mean, you people?"
He been one of the original ones studying out, traveling the world. They told us to travel. He been traveling and studying for a long time. But nah, brother, that's all I meant by it. The atonement is deep. It made me do. I'm thinking about doing a nice little segment into it. Might be a nice
Yeah,
little series.
we gotta have one of them up here that have been actively participating in the atonement. That's gonna be something we'll talk about the next time because I got my experience from the atonement. My very first time I went to the atonement back when Emperor John. But we're gonna cut it right there because that's gonna be until another
Yeah,
segment when I talk
yeah.
about
Maybe
my
that could be that. Hey, we go write that down for next
right
episode.
on.
Tune in to
All
the
right,
next
Right
episode.
on.
make sure I remember. Y'all better make sure we remember. Put it in a group chat.
Yeah, somebody
Bless the
put it in.
Because I
name,
could talk
bro.
about I could talk about my experience at atonement as well. I've been to actually a few of them. So
Oh, okay. That's what's up.
don't do it like that. Don't make it seem like I mean, you go too if you want to. You wait, hold on, wait. Weren't you just in Chicago? Were you just at a so-called Passover too?
At mine, yeah. So yeah, that's why I was late because I had just got in and then I was taking a shower and I was like, oh snap. So yeah.
Israel straight off the road
Yeah,
coming.
man. I was
Forward.
rolling, turning, and burning, man. So I was up there for I made it for my
All right,
pastor.
family. Well, I'm your host Solomon. You can find me on Facebook at Cornelius Solomon Walker. You can find all of us at the Pharaohs Podcast at gmail.com. I'm a shout out to all of our new subscribers, especially Atlanta that y'all been showing out. For sure. Luke, you need to get your Chicago people on this.
I know.
But but the Atlanta people been showing out for us. If you want to get your book published, you can email me at cwalker15 at gmail.com. I've been meeting some people. I've actually talked to a couple people. Shout out to Ann. Shout out to Rick. These are some new clients of mine that we're gonna be putting some stuff together. Hey, ATL been showing some love, man. I'm gonna have to do a segment for y'all or something. Israel, where can people find you?
Man, y'all can find me in the A. Yeah, y'all where we at?
You were
Boom,
just in the shine.
y'all can find me in the A. You can find me on the road. You can find me in the streets. You can find me at JonathanJohnson621.com. If I ain't working, I'm on the bike. And if I ain't working, I'm working. Okay? You can also find me at the Pharaohs Podcast, and
Stay out the
yeah.
streets, Israel. Stay out the streets.
Yeah. No, I'm on
I'm
the
sending. I'm
curve.
sending somebody back there.
I'm on the curve. The streets ain't for everybody. I'm on the curve.
Luke, where can people find you?
Oh, crazy. You can find me at Luke7733Lee9 at gmail.com. Pharaohs Podcast at gmail.com. In the comment section, hit me up. Go in.
Definitely in the comment section.
Go in. Go in. We love it. We need the interaction. That's what we here for. We here to interact, talk. So we appreciate all the subscribers. Like Solomon said, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your neighbor, tell your sister, your mama, your brother. This podcast is for all peoples of all types of walks of life. As y'all saw today, we go deep, and we still have fun. So yeah,
All right, family. Peace.
peace.